Welcome back to the Higher View podcast. It is me, Jonathan, the one and only, your host. And I'm here with the beautiful co-host and wifey.
Yes, that's me, Alexus, your one and only.
We are back.
Yeah, we are back.
After
back better than ever.
After traveling, road tripping, doing a bunch of stuff.
It was nice. If y'all didn't go check out our episode with our friends in Maryland, highly recommend, because that was cool. We brought it to their living room in Maryland. Like, that was so much fun.
Yeah, we recorded in Maryland. It's a really dope episode. Definitely go check it out. But as you can see, we have switched things up in the podcast a little bit with the studio. Things are a little bit different. Got a new look going on. We are going into a new series, new season of the podcast. So we just decided to switch things up a little bit, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
First of all, I just want to say today, well, when we're recording this, it's July 31st, so it'll get posted this Saturday.
Is it?
Oh, it's July 30th.
July 30th.
So July 30th, this will be getting posted this Saturday, and it is... How to add that, It is our 2nd year anniversary.
2 years with the Higher View podcast.
Isn't that crazy?
Amen.
That is wild.
Someone asked me the other day, how long have you guys been doing it? And I was like, I don't know, maybe like a year or more, but 2 years.
2 years, babe. 2 years.
That's pretty awesome.
You need to make sure you say that, because I'm proud to say it. Yeah. That we've stayed committed to it and just years. Kept going. And it's so awesome to see how far we've came. I love it.
It's really awesome, man. Thinking back, I think it really ties into what we're talking about today. Just the awesomeness of what the podcast has brought us, all around. It's just been like nothing but greatness.
Yeah, the way like we've grown through it and the people that we have had on there this season. And I think just like personally, just us coming together, doing this husband and wife, I think it's so cool just to see the conversations we have on here. And it really feels like literally every single time we end an episode, we're like, we just feel so filled up. Like we feel like we just like went somewhere else. Like we don't even feel like we're in our house. Like we feel like we're somewhere else, and we just coming together and talking deep thoughts and
facts,
letting just get filled up by God through all of this. It's how it feels. Literally, He's just in the middle of it all.
So we really try to have our episodes just laid back, down to earth, with God in the center, and it always just turns out exactly how we want it.
I will say, in the beginning of when we first started our podcast, you can kind of tell, like, you think it was cringy.
I'm cringy.
I honestly haven't looked back and watched it, but I don't think people are looking at it that way. No. I think for us, we could see how much we've grown, and I think it was a little bit more uptight and a little bit more serious, where we are just trying to be more of just laid back on ourselves. But honestly, when we did do it, when we started it, I remember friends telling us that's exactly you guys are just being y'all. So they always saw us being us, but I don't think we felt that way. I felt we felt a little bit more uptight, and it's bro, just chill.
We always had a vision for how we want the podcast to look, how we want to be on the podcast, and what we want to portray. And I just feel like looking back then, it just was not what we envisioned. We were just starting out. So we didn't know what we were supposed to be doing, but it was good practice, and there's definitely some good podcasts back there. Some of our beginning ones, I'm like, dang, I've listened to them before, and it's pretty good stuff.
I should go back and listen to it. I can't believe it's still 2 years. Oh,
2 years. What a celebration.
Happy podcast anniversary. Let's go.
I think I can do some hand clapping.
Can you? We should do that. A little button.
Yeah, so we have just been traveling, vacationing, taking trips really the whole month of July. We've been out of town almost every weekend, and it's been a very busy season.
Your sister had a quinceañera.
My sister had her quinceañera, yeah. If you can't roll your R's, you can't say it. Quinceañera. But yeah, that was super fun. That was definitely a big moment for me, just to see that. My little baby sister, she's the youngest of all 4 of us, so it was a pretty big deal for me and my family.
Yeah,
it was pretty awesome.
Your one and only sister.
My one and only sister. She'll always be my baby sister.
And I've known her since she was 7, so That was pretty crazy for me too. I remember just hanging out with her. She was like my best friend. Well, you're my best friend, but you know what I mean? Like you'd be working and it would just be me and her hanging out, and like it was just so much fun when she was younger.
Yeah, but that was fun. We got a lot of family time. We got time with my family, time with your family in Maryland. We really just spent a lot of time with family this month, and it's just been great. Being in Maryland, it was an unplugging time. Like we just unplugged from pretty much everything, and I had like no worries, no cares. It was awesome. It was great.
Yeah.
Stress free.
Definitely should do that once in a while.
But just a little bit of an update about what we've been doing. Just been traveling and all that stuff. Getting back in the groove of life after all of that, and just trying to get back on schedule from waking up early. And Ava, hey, quit. Just trying to get back on schedule because I wake up early for work and it's tough, especially on Mondays. I can't make that clear enough. But yeah, just a little bit of an update where we've been, what we've been doing. But today we just want to talk about the power of community. And what community does for you, how strong it is, how beneficial it is. And the reason why I was saying earlier why it could tie into today's episode of what we were talking about, like the 2-year mark, is because we've grown so much in community throughout these 2 years of on the podcast. And I just think, me personally, it was definitely something that I wanted to grow in. Like that was one of my goals. One of my goals was to grow in community, grow in communication, which community, communication, communion, all relatively the same thing. They all have something in common. And that's something that I wanted to grow in. And I feel like we definitely 100% have. Yeah. And I'm very, very grateful for that.
Yeah, I feel like you can't grow as much if you're by yourself and alone and away from community and having conversations with people and meeting people, and you're less awkward when you go out there in the world.
Yeah, well, the more people you have in your community is the more perspectives that you can add in your conversations. When you have more people in your corner, you're having more conversations, you're having other things that you could talk about, hearing other perspectives. It's not just your brain and conversations.
Do you remember our episode? I think it was in the first season. Yeah, first season, because we're only in the second season, of Art of Traveling.
Yes.
The Art of Traveling. That's what that reminds me of. Because it's like we were in that episode, we were talking about it's not literally traveling, it's meeting people, and that's you traveling because you're getting a whole different perspective. Worldview, yeah. So that's what that reminded me of.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, today and just coming up on this week, I've really just been thinking about community, been thinking about how much it's impacted me personally, and especially like going out of town. We were coming back, we're like, dude, I miss my friends. I miss hanging out with people. We need to schedule days to get with people and just catch up. So it's just a really good place to be. I feel like being surrounded with community, having a good circle around you, having a good circle of like-minded people.
How do you feel like you've grown with community?
I think it's just what I was talking about, like just the perspective. I think also communication, it's given me a different perspective on communication. Being able to be vulnerable to people, being able to be vulnerable in conversations around people in community. I didn't really know what that looked like. And I mean, no one really does, as there's no instructions on how to do that. You kind of have to figure that out.
True.
But I think community is a great tool to do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's so many different aspects of how good community can be. But for me personally, I think it was just growing in the perspective, growing in communication. Also, I think anybody can probably be a little awkward if they're not in
I think we
community.
all have our awkward side either way.
Yeah.
We're all weird in our own way.
Being in community is the fuel to have communication with people. And if you can't learn to be in community, you can't ever learn to really ever be fully by yourself.
What do you mean by that?
So like if you're always by yourself,
feel you.
You don't have communication, you don't have community, you don't know what the other side looks like. So you're only with yourself. And there is no other perspective.
I see what you're saying. Like right when you said that, I'm like getting kind of like a vision of what you're saying. And I'm seeing it's like, I had this thought when we were driving, because I know we were going to be talking about this today. So I was just processing. And it's like community, it's iron sharpening iron. And like when you are around people, it's like a mirror of yourself. And what I thought about was things are going to be exposed when you are around people, like within your soul, within your minds, within the way you think. Like things could get brought up that you wouldn't experience if you weren't around people.
Yeah.
Like anything that should be rooted out of your life, or any darkness that should be brought to the light, like envy or untrust or unforgiveness, or that stuff is going to be brought up when you're around community sometimes, because it's like that's something that you need to work on, but you're not going to experience that if you're by yourself, like in a room. And so I'm just seeing it kind of like that. I don't know if I'm on the right track with it. It's just iron sharpening iron.
I think it's a very slower process to be alone when you're trying to grow. If you're trying to grow to be in community, it just expels you. Like it'll catapult you to different levels.
I mean, look back on our life.
Yeah.
Like when we lived together before going to church and stuff, and it was like we craved a community. We craved like being around like our generation, and we saw like Elevation Church. We're like, we really want something like that. I personally think we even got it better.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know. We've never been.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm just being biased. Biased. But our lives changed dramatically the moment we stepped into that place.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like we went all in. You know, we did house college. We did I remember the first time we went there, it was like the first week they had Become Marriage.
Yeah.
And it was before we were getting married, and it was like it all fell into place, and we just fell in love with the people there and the church and the culture. And now we have those relationships there, that community, and those people that we'll always have that connection with because of house college, and we're all still there like doing this thing. So
yeah, I think I could speak for me and you on this. Like we owe a lot of what our achievements are, like personally, our growth, our personal growth. We owe a lot of our personal growth to the people that are around us, to our circles, to our closest friends, the people that are part of our journey and seeing us grow, seeing us mature and change and have different mindsets and all of that stuff. You know, they're part of our sharpening, because iron sharpens iron. You know, you have a good circle around you, they're going to sharpen you regardless. So all credit is due to our community. You know, we could never take credit for us being so much better than we were.
That's a really beautiful saying. Yeah. That really is, because it's like when you're hanging around people, you start picking up a certain laugh, you start picking up a certain way you talk. And I always wonder, like, why do people do that? Like, but that just makes sense, because you are who you hang around. Like you do become who you are around, and that's not something that should be taken lightly. Like that's serious. Like you're going to pick up the qualities and characteristics of those people.
Yeah. The people around your life dictate the direction of your life.
Yeah.
So I want people that are going to check me. I want people that are going to correct me, you know, tell me when I'm wrong, tell me when I'm right. You know, I want people like that around me.
And I tell you, I think I got plenty from you, though. I
was listening to Erwin McManus this morning. I sent it to our group. With
I'm going to listen to it tomorrow.
About the 7 communications of language. It's actually really interesting.
Really?
Yeah, you can definitely find one that you'll resonate with. But there's just different ways that people communicate. You know, there's different levels, the different frequencies that people communicate in.
Get down, Eva.
But he just broke it down in a really interesting way. And it really just helped me understand how you can come off, how I can come off, and just how to receive and understand that. But
so that's going to bless our marriage is what I'm hearing.
For sure. It's about a book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He did come out with that. Yeah, I'm excited to listen to it. I'm going to listen to it tomorrow.
Yeah. One of my absolute favorite speakers. I think he's really a lot of my inspiration behind communication, behind the creativity of doing things like this, and just having a creative spark. You know, he's really sparked a lot in me. He's a really, really cool guy.
That's definitely on our bucket list to go there one day.
Absolutely.
Mosaic in LA. It's really cool. I really like what you said about how we can't take credit for our growth, and it comes from our community. I think that's so beautiful that you said that. Because that's true. And the people that like speak into your lives, and the people you look up to, and like mentorship that's in your life, or your pastors or your friends, and you get in those close circles, like that is like pouring into your life and helping you become a better you. And if you didn't have that, how are you going to become a better you if you're just facing you all the time and nobody else? And we're even like, if you think that you just going to work is going to like sharpen you to the core, like you might just be walking to work and going to your little cubicle and talking to phone, people on the phone or something like that. Like, yeah, it can sharpen you to a certain level, but it's like, it's different when you do life with people. And one day we're going to have
like-minded people.
One day we'll have our friends Gadiel and Jada on here.
Very soon.
Very, very soon. But they are really good people, and I'm really excited to have them on here. And I really look up to, because they just moved here from Modesto, California. Mm-hmm. And one thing I loved was when we went out to eat, like right when they went to our church, they were like, I want to get to know you, Jonathan, because he's in the production.
Very clear about his intentions.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to get to know you. Like, let's go out to dinner. So we did a double date, and the one thing he said, he's like, I want to do life with you guys. Like, I'm here to like build relationships with people and do life. Like, this isn't just, let's just go to church on Sunday and say hi. Like, I actually want to do life. Like, I want our kids to be best friends. And I thought that was so cool that when we were going into this episode, he came to my mind. They came to my mind.
Absolutely.
Gadiel and Jada. Because like that is their heart, is like doing life with people. It's not just saying hi. Like I said, like it's actually getting.
There's been a lot of people that we've come across that we've come in relationship with. And just having a community, getting together, having communion, like just having a good time together. But I think them specifically is the most biblical way that I've ever witnessed it happen. Because if you look in the Bible, Jesus had, he surrounded himself with the disciples. He always had people following him. If Jesus himself, he's supposed to be the person that we look up to, the person that we mirror pretty much. He's our role model. If he himself surrounded himself with people and people to follow him and all of that stuff, then how much more than do we need to do that?
No, that's true.
Just the way that they went about it, they went about it with love. And also the Bible also talks about love your neighbor as you love yourself. And they really wanted to know us. They really wanted to get to know us personally, not just surface level. And that's another thing that I was thinking about today too. Like, how can you love someone that you don't even know? Yeah. We're called to love everybody. And how can you love anybody if you don't even know them? Mm-hmm. That just ties in part with community.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that you say that, because I kind of got, I would say, a little convicted in this area, that there's some people that I feel like God's put on my heart to have an actual conversation with them when I see them, instead of just saying, hey, how are you? Good, how are you? Good. And then just slowly start walking away and like passing, where it's like, and you can tell like that person wants to have a conversation, so it's like, actually stop and talk to them. Like they want to like talk to you, and like I know this person, but like I haven't like talked to her in a long time, and it's like, you shouldn't, I really like felt that like you shouldn't be too busy to like actually genuinely check on somebody. And like give them a text if they come to your heart. Like, be obedient in that area, because that person could actually really need that in that moment. And so how can we truly love them if we don't know what's truly going on in their life? How can we be unified, as in the body of Christ together, if we don't know what's going on in each other's lives? And it's more of just like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Like, yeah, there's this mutual like connection. There's this like, it's nice. And we're all doing this communion together. We're all in gathering together. And so there's this natural love there for the brother and sisterhood. But it's like, I feel like it needs to get deeper than this.
Just a little surface level.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, I definitely agree with that. I think there's a lot of that. I think it's very, very easy to just immediately go to that and have that like as your first choice. Like, oh, how's it going? Like hug, hey, how's it going? Good to see you, And
it's just like one person after another.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, like I said, there's this natural love there with brothers and sisters, but you can, if you feel pulled in a moment to have a conversation with somebody, like nothing else should be more important than that.
Yeah. I mean, like, we're not going to connect with everybody, and that's okay.
It's true.
That's totally okay. I think that's where kind of the boundary is here. We're not going to be the person that's going to be out bubbly with every single person. God calls specific people for specific people, and you're not going to have communication and community with every single person that you meet. It's impossible. You can't do that.
Sorry if I'm interrupting.
No, you're good.
But I want to highlight what you said is like God calls people to certain people, because I think whenever you find a church home or you find a community and you feel like you're that person in the room that nobody's talking to, or you see this person on a platform, or you see this and it's like, why aren't these people talking to me? And it's like, I feel like, I don't know if you can relate to that on a male side, but I think on a female side, that could be pretty easy to have those feelings. Like you feel like you should be friends with everybody and like talk to everybody. And if this person passes you and doesn't look at you or say hi, you think like you get like self-conscious about it. And it's like, so not everybody is called to be your friend. Not everybody's called to be in your life. Like I really believe in keeping your circle small when you have those good quality friends, and then you can have acquaintances and people that you love from a certain place in life. But
Sure.
It's like we're not here to get coffee with everybody.
No.
We're not here to know everybody's story. And like it's
talking about community. It's like having that strong group around you. It's not let's just go out and find random people. But it's genuinely knowing people. It's genuinely getting to know people and knowing their hearts, knowing their stance on things, agreeing to disagree, disagreeing, like all of that. It can be all of that mixed in there.
Oh, I can say so much. I'm just like, it's like all in my head. And like going back to like what I said, like doesn't mean like they don't like you either. And like I feel like that could be such an easy feeling to have sometimes. Like, these people don't like me. But I was reading, it was talking about how Jesus should be the only one, pretty much. It was like really highlighted to me. It's like Jesus and nobody else is like what it said. And I think I'm going to tie this into this, but because I know we're talking about community, but like we're going to, like when we are around communities, like you're going to see more of Jesus. You're going to see more of him through everybody else's life and how he works. And because God is not in a box. Like, I think when we go out and have community and come together, it's like, we're going to see how God's moving in their lives. And it's going to be a blessing to us because of their testimonies and things like that. So I think like when I'm saying why I'm bringing that verse in is Jesus and nobody else, because when you are in the middle of church or you're in the middle of a congregation and not everybody says hi to you, like ultimately it should really be just about Jesus at the end of the day and nobody else. And those people are going to come, those people, and you're going to be able to see these people through the lens of God. And it's not going to be like, why don't they like me, and be self-centered. We're not here to be self-centered. We're here to be about love others as yourself. And so if you are Jesus and nobody else, loving yourself with Jesus, then it's like you're going to be able to love others as yourself because it's coming from that place, if that makes sense.
I think once you have that perspective that you're saying, like you're able to explain this because you've reached a level of maturity. It's a sign. Once you've reached this level of being able to see it from this perspective, that's a sign of maturity. I think having those feelings of people, walking past those people in the hallway, they don't say hi to you or acknowledge you, all that stuff, and you feel like insecure, you feel like you were missed in a sense. I think that's a sign of immaturity. I think that's a sign that you need to spiritually grow. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think being in community absolutely matures that area specifically.
That's cool.
Because you get to know more about yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You get to know that you're not being missed. There's people specifically for you. And I think everybody has a group out there. And I think, God knows our beginning and our end. He knows everything in between. And he knows all the people that we're going to meet, all the people that we're going to come across that is going to sharpen us and take us to the next levels of where we need to get. And I think that's just a process of trusting.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot because there's seasons to friendship sometimes. You're going to have certain people that are going to be lifetime friends, and then you're going to have certain people that are seasonal friends.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Should be peace over it.
I have a family member that I always talk with, and every time we get together, he's older. He's older than me, but every time we get together, it's always a spiritual talk. And last time I was talking with him, he was just talking about some things that he's been going through lately. And I don't know, we always get into spiritual talks, and last time that we were talking, he was mentioning some things, and I was talking about how you can't do it alone, because immediately when he said what he was going through, I was like, dude, you're doing it alone.
Yeah.
And immediately when I said that, he looked up, his eyes just like blew up. He's like,
doing it alone.
every time we talk, I say something, because I always feel the Spirit speaking through me when I talk to him, always. And every time I say something, he looks up, he's just like I knew exactly that's what you needed to hear. And when we were talking, I was telling him, I was like, dude, if you believe in Jesus, right? Like, my whole family's Christian. So obviously I know the answer to this already. I was like, you believe in Jesus, right? He was like, yeah, of course. But I was saying, if Jesus is, like I said earlier, if Jesus is our role model, the person that we're supposed to look up to, if he had people around him, why wouldn't we have people around us to help us?
Yeah.
And I'm just stubborn, I'm hard headed. I want to do it on my own. And he was like, I'm going to do it just because he said. It was some type of counseling, but he said that he's going to do it just because I said.
Wow.
But yeah, that was a cool experience. But that just shows the power of community, the power of why it's important, and people actually struggle alone. They do. People really, really do struggle alone, and people struggle in silence, especially when you're alone.
You don't have to.
There's free resources. Dude, go to the park, go talk to somebody, it takes boldness to meet people.
It does. It takes boldness for sure to go out of your way and go say hi to somebody. And definitely takes boldness to do that.
I think before meeting people and being in like church and environments and stuff like that, it was kind of scary to like go up to new people, but now I love it so much.
I think that's what keeps some people away from going to church,
it's scary,
or trying out a new church, because you're like, oh, like I'm going to have to like get in, I'm going to have to eventually get involved. I'm going to have to talk to people and meet people. And it's like, chase that uncomfortableness. Like, don't say comfortable, chase it, because you don't know, God might have that certain person there that, like he was saying, like he knows the beginning and the end, and there might be that person that you were supposed to come across that can completely change your life 360 if you go to that church, or if you go to that event that you're invited to, and or whatever it is, that birthday party or the baby shower, like, and you don't want to go because there's a lot of people there and you don't know them. You never know who you're going to come across.
Yep, you never know. Like, prime example, when I was going to the boxing gym, posted something on my story, and one of my friends, Jesus, commented on my story. He's like, where you go to the gym at? And I told him, we met up. We used to work together years ago at Sprint.
Yeah, when you're like 18 and now you're 20, about to be 26.
We met up again. We caught up. He's on his path with God. He found God. He's living an amazing life. And he has his own business, doing painting. And we were just getting to talking, and just, we just had a really good conversation. But 2 weeks after that, we started a business together. We started an LLC. So it just goes to show, take that risk, talk to people, meet people, have those communications. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to come around. And it could, things can pay off. Networking is a very powerful tool, very, very powerful tool. But we're gonna end that right there on that thought,
because we can keep going.
We do have a new season we're stepping into. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we'll hint the new decorations and stuff. We, like he said earlier, we want to go into this new season with a new feel to it, a new look to it. And in this new season, we want it to be more structured. I don't think there's anything wrong with the way we did season 2. Do you want this to be season 3?
Yeah, it's gonna be season 3.
So we didn't really discuss that yet. But season 2 was very like, hey, we're gonna get guests. We're just gonna free flow, see how it goes. But the thing is, with that, like, we want to keep growing and see where we can grow in anything we do. And so it's like, with this, we want to be more structured, because before it was very free flowing. You guys never knew really who would be on the podcast or what topic's going to be next. It could be about health one day, and then it could be about entrepreneurship the next day. And so this one, we want to have, like, what would you say? Series. Thank you. We would, if you want to go into that.
Yeah, so it's going to be season 3, and they're going to be series. This season is going to be full of series. So we're going to have different series of marriage. We're going to have a series of pastors, communications, just like with friends.
Gen
Z. So all of these series will be, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, couple episodes. And we'll have this series for like that length of time, and then we'll move on to the next. So that way, when you're wanting to come and listen to the podcast, you know exactly what you're going to get. You know what's going to come next week. You know exactly what you can follow along to. And stuff that you can look forward to as well, because we're going to be letting you guys know what's going to be coming out. Also, this one that I'm very, very, very excited about. I had this idea the other day. We're going to sprinkle in episodes here and there called Gray Areas. And these episodes are going to be about gray areas of the Bible, or maybe just about life, a gray area in general. Just a controversial topic, a controversial idea, something that's not very clear in the Bible, just get our opinions and stuff like that. Maybe we'll have special guests for that one, but I'm really excited about that one. We'll have those just sprinkled in there. And those will just kind of be like creative episodes, kind of like a bonus episode here and there.
Yeah, I like that idea. Bonus episode.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's just going to be series. And we're going to be stepping into, the first one is Gen Z, I believe, right? So Gen Z, we're going to have a little bit of the younger generation. I know we're part of Gen Z as well, so we can incorporate some of our age as well. But we're going to try to hit the younger generation,
like youth,
a little bit more. Yeah, youth.
Young adults, like 18 or...
Yeah, I really want to get their mindset. I really want to see their perspective on life.
I would love that.
How they're living, what their life is like. Yeah. You know, we grew up in a different time. You know, we're not very far off, but you know, it's still a much different time.
Like Pastor Micah said on stage, he was, I don't know if you remember this, but he was like, the world was changing every 5 years, and now it's changing every single year. It's like getting crazier out on these streets. No, so I can't imagine like what it's like for them right now.
Yeah, it's definitely getting wild. So I would definitely love to get their eyes on it, definitely get their brain. I know a couple of the youth kids have just been bugging me to get on here. So.
I know. I was like, it's time. I was like, y'all have been so patient.
They've been persistent, and I applaud them.
I like
for
that.
Yes.
That shows that they're serious and they really want to be on there, and they're going to take it seriously. For sure. So I'm excited.
And there's some kids in there that definitely got a story on them.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Definitely got a story on them. So I'm very excited for that. And I'm just very excited for this new season 3 of the podcast. I definitely want to change up the look a little bit, not too much, but just a tad, you know, just to mark it as a new season. But doing series I feel like it's a good move. I feel like it's organized. It's easier for people to follow along, especially on YouTube. YouTube series are really big. So yeah, just really excited about that. I'm excited for the conversations. I'm really looking forward to the pastor series.
Yes.
We're going to have the pastors on here, and I'm not sure what I want them to talk about quite yet.
We'll see.
But it's going to be cool.
I think it'll be really cool to have pastors maybe next after Gen Z. We'll see. We don't want to commit to like, hey, here's how it's going to go. I'll just have an idea.
Yeah. But if this maybe is your first time watching the Higher View podcast, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening, feel free to reach out to us. We want you on the podcast. If you have a cool story, we want you on the podcast. We will fit you in somewhere on one of these series. And we would love to connect, have community with you, and just bring you in, show you some hospitality.
Hospitality.
If you're not from the South, some Southern hospitality. Even like if you're out of state, you know, maybe we can figure something out and meet. But we'll figure that out later down the road. Also, if you're watching and you know anybody that has other guests on their podcast, we would love to be a part of that. Or if they would come over here, you know, either way. But just want to throw that little shout out there. But if you have anybody in mind.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. And please don't forget to subscribe and like it.
Yeah.
It just helps. It helps it get out there. And there's somebody out there that really needs to hear this message. And that's really what it's about. You know, it's not about all the views and all the likes and stuff, but it's like there could be that one person. Like if there's somebody on your heart that you feel could hear this, send it to them, because we want this to go, you know, farther than just in here. So yeah, it's for people. This is for people, to help people and just to show them new ways of thinking in life, and to help you guys in this life, because we all need it.
We need community.
Yes.
This is community.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, we'll go ahead and just wrap things up right here. Ava's getting antsy. She's
she's a border collie Australian mix, so
if you don't work her out for one day, she is off the walls.
Yeah.
And she is almost there.
She is.
So we'll go ahead and wrap this up. But
all right, that was good.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for sitting down and having intentional time with me.
Of course.
Just this communication. I think it's pretty nice. We haven't done this in a while.
Yeah, it fills my heart up. Fills my heart up.
Well, I love you.
I love you too.
Love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of the Higher View podcast for 2 years. If you've stuck along that long, you are an OG.
OG, my guy. OG.
If you are new though, welcome to the journey.
Yes,
we don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
It's a journey.
We're doing life together. We're doing community together. We're learning about God together.
Yep.
We're researching things and diving deep into things. The Higher View is all about going deeper, seeing things from a higher perspective. And just kind of unraveling things, I would say. I think we just have like creative looks and aspects on topics. The podcast is for the creative, the outside thinker, and the believer. So yeah, if you're new, stick around. We've got some good stuff coming up. Well, we love you guys. Yeah, I love you, Ava. You're going outside. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys next time.
Until then, see things from a higher view. And peace out.
Peace out.